Imagine the moment when the Son of God, purest and most divine being to walk the earth, exhales his last breath. What happened in the minutes following Jesus' death? And why did these supernatural events even terrify the Roman soldiers? If you want to continue uncovering the hidden secrets of history, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. 5 events after the death of Jesus. Number 1. The earth shook and rocks split apart. The moment Jesus breathed his last, earth responded in a visceral way. The ground trembled, and the rocks that made up the landscape split apart, as if the very fabric of creation was reacting to the shock of the Creator's death. This earthquake was more than just a natural event. It represented a moment of profound connection between the physical and the spiritual, a reflection of the magnitude of what was happening on the earthly plane. Matthew's description in the Gospels suggests that this seismic shock was a physical testimony to the cosmic devastation caused by the death of the Son of God. It was as if the natural world was writhing in agony, unable to bear the loss of Jesus, the Word who was with God from the beginning. In a region prone to seismic activity like Palestine, earthquake might seem like a common event, but its combination with Christ's crucifixion and the subsequent opening of the tombs gave this event significance far beyond the geological. This initial tremor, which echoed across the sacred ground, was the first of 2 earthquakes marking crucial events in the narrative of Jesus' passion and resurrection, establishing a direct connection between earth and heaven. Number 2. The tombs opened, and the dead were raised. Among the supernatural phenomena that occurred at Jesus' death, perhaps the most astonishing is Matthew's account of the resurrection of many saints who had died. When the earth shook, the tombs were opened, and those who had slept in death were raised. These saints, pious figures from Israel's history, emerged from their graves and walked through the holy city of Jerusalem, appearing to many. This event, unique to Matthew's account, underscores the transformative power of Jesus' death, not just for the living, but also for the dead. The resurrection of these saints serves as a prelude, a final resurrection promised to all believers, a glimpse of what was to come with Christ's victory over death. Paul speaks of Jesus as the firstfruits of those who sleep, first to rise in glory, and these resurrected saints confirm that hope. They are living witnesses of God's power, who, through the death of his Son, opened the doors to eternal life. This supernatural event is a powerful declaration that death no longer has the final word. Life prevails through Christ's sacrifice. Number 3. Temple veil was torn. At the moment Jesus gave up his spirit, something extraordinary occurred in the temple in Jerusalem. The veil that separated the Holy of Holies from the rest of the temple was torn in 2, from top to bottom. This veil was a profound symbol of the separation between God and humanity, a barrier that existed because of sin. Only the high priest could pass through this veil, and only once a year to offer sacrifices for the people's sins. When Jesus died, this veil was supernaturally torn, symbolizing the end of the Old Covenant and the opening of a new way for humanity to approach God. It was not man who tore the veil, but God, from top to bottom, indicating that the initiative to restore communion was entirely divine. The Epistle to the Hebrews explains that through Christ's sacrifice, we now have free access to the presence of God, something previously unimaginable. The tearing of the veil was an act of grace, an invitation for all, regardless of their condition, to approach the throne of God. This event marked the beginning of a new spiritual era, where the daily and annual sacrifices were replaced by the once and sufficient sacrifice of Jesus, who opened the way for all believe. Number 4. Darkness covered the land. At the most crucial moment of the crucifixion, when the sun should have been at its peak, a supernatural darkness enveloped the entire land from noon until 3 in the afternoon. This unusual event, recorded by Matthew, was a powerful and undeniable sign that something cosmic was happening. The darkness that covered the land was not caused by a natural eclipse, as the moon was full at that time, but was a direct manifestation of divine mourning and judgment. The prophet Amos had foretold a day when God would make the sun go down at noon as a sign of mourning and judgment. This prophecy was fulfilled on the day Jesus was crucified. The darkness served as a symbol of the universe's deep sorrow for the death of the Son of God, and also as a sign of the judgment being executed on humanity's sin. This celestial phenomenon was a visible testimony to all present that Jesus' death was not just an earthly event, but one that affected the entire cosmos. For those at the cross, this shroud of darkness must have been terrifying, a harbinger of divine judgment and the loss of the Son of God. This moment of darkness culminated in Jesus' death, when he, bearing the sins of the world, experienced separation from God, symbolized by the darkness that engulfed everything around him. Number 5. The centurion recognized Jesus' divinity. Among the many testimonies that followed Jesus' death, one of the most remarkable came from an unexpected source: the Roman centurion in charge of overseeing the crucifixion. This man, hardened by battle and the execution of many others, was deeply affected by what he witnessed. When the earthquake shook the earth and other supernatural signs occurred, the centurion, filled with fear, proclaimed, "Truly, this was the Son of God." This declaration was not just a reaction to the death of a righteous man, but a recognition of Jesus' divinity. This centurion, who had carried out his duty coldly and efficiently, saw something in the way Jesus died that set him apart from any other. Perhaps it was the dignity with which Jesus endured the torture, or his prayer of forgiveness for those who crucified him. Perhaps it was Jesus' very act of surrender, or the fact that nature seemed to mourn his death. Whatever the reason, this soldier's heart was touched in a way that completely transformed his understanding of what had occurred. In recognizing Jesus as the Son of God, the centurion became one of the first Gentile witnesses to Christ's divinity, a powerful testimony that the message of the cross was capable of reaching even the most hardened and distant hearts. This event marks the beginning of a new understanding of who Jesus was and the universal impact of his death, not just for Jews, but for all humanity. So, which of these events after Jesus' death impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. And if you're enjoying these biblical stories and want to explore more, don't stop here. Keep watching our videos for more fascinating details and deep reflection on the Bible. May God bless you, and see you next time.